This is the triangle that all products fall upon. A triangle between price, performance, and convenience. The farther you stray into one, the less you can have of the others. And this is a wireless lavalier microphone kit from LensGo that retails at around $70. Where on the triangle does this kit fit? Well, after a week or so of using it, here are my thoughts. For full transparency, this microphone was sent to me free of charge for review, but LensGo has had no say in the production of this video and is seeing it for the first time when you are. Opening up the box reveals that along with the transmitter unit, receiver unit, and lav mic, you'll receive two 10-inch micro USB cables for charging, a windscreen for the transmitter's built-in mic, a windscreen for the lav mic, two plastic clips that magnetically attach to the transmitter and receiver, a metal disc with double-sided tape for semi-permanently creating a mounting point, a coil, nice touch by the way, 3.5mm TRS to TRS cable for use with cameras and external recorders, and a 3.5mm TRS to TRRS cable for use with laptops and phones. Oh, and you get a bag, lanyard, and reset tool. One thing I do wish they would have added in the box is a cord 20 screw to magnet nub so that I wouldn't have to permanently stick a metal piece to one of my devices to attach the microphone magnetically to. But by and large, I take very little issue with the included accessories. Coming in both white and black, I don't have much to say on the physical design of the transmitter and receiver. They certainly don't look premium, and I wish they were wider and thinner so as to more easily be hidden in pockets or clothing, but the rounded-like pill shape of both meant that it did get easily caught on said clothing and easily slid into pockets. The clips, being plastic, strike a good balance between being grippy and posing no risk of damaging clothing, with the magnets used to attach the clips to the unit being strong and indented, but still being the weakest link if hit from the side. Furthermore, these clips are the right size to attach to a cold shoe mount on a camera, however it wasn't particularly secure and I would certainly keep an eye on it or perhaps tape it down if you're going to go this route. The lav mic's build quality is equally inoffensive. The head of the lav is a little large, but the clip is plenty grippy and strong, and the cable, while not the thinnest I've seen, is a perfectly alright size. Going back to the transmitter and receiver, on the sides of both units you have a reset button in case you somehow bork up the channels, and it's where you'll find the micro USB charging ports that I wish were USB-C to charge the built-in batteries that in my testing lasted between 4 and 5 hours of continuous use and required 2 hours to charge. And while discouraged by the manufacturer, both units did still function while charging, so if you wanted to use a battery bank to increase the battery life, do so at your own risk. On top is where you'll find the 3.5mm TRS jack for audio in and out on the respective units, but with the transmitter having a built-in microphone on the top section as well. Finally, on the front there is a single power button used for powering the units on as well as manually assigning channels if required, with below an LED indicator to relay the device's current status. Usability here is dead simple. They come paired out of the box to one another, so simply hold the power button to power up each unit, plug the receiver unit into your recording device, using the right cable of course, they're nicely labeled, and then optionally you can plug any standard TS or TRS microphone into the transmitter, such as the one included. From there, I was able to use them just as I would a wired microphone, just without the wires. In my incredibly unscientific tests, I was easily able to hold a connection a couple of rooms away on the same floor, however began having issues once a couple of rooms away and one floor above. However, if it did lose connection, it regained the connection at practically the same point where it dropped off. With direct line of sight, as advertised, I made it to around 150 feet before having issues, and the microphone reconnected at the exact distance it cut out at. But let's talk about what you've all been waiting for, the sound. I, entirely unfairly, decided to pit this microphone up against my Rode Lav Go, which by itself costs more than the whole kit. But it's a decent, if unremarkable, mid-range lav mic to compare against, even if the LensGo mic will almost certainly sound worse. To normalize the tests, I did all of my recording into my Zoom H1 portable recorder and adjusted the input level for each microphone to what I would if I was recording in the field. Unfortunately, my adapters were not playing nice, so I wasn't able to simultaneously record the test for side-by-side comparisons, but I did record them all back-to-back in my sound-deadened audio space, and I'll just play them in order for you here. Alright, this is a test of specifically the LensGo's Lavalier microphone. It's plugged directly into my Zoom H1, recording internally. For comparison, here's what my Rode Lav mic sounds like, again plugged directly into my Zoom H1. This is an audio test of the built-in microphone in the transmitter going wirelessly to the receiver and plugged into my Zoom H1 for recording, with the receiver and transmitter about only a foot apart. I have now gone on to plug the Lavalier LensGo microphone into the transmitter, again transmitting wirelessly to the receiver, which is only about a foot away, which is being recorded by my Zoom H1. And last but not least, here is a sample of the Rode Lav plugged into the transmitter going into the receiver, which is about a foot away from the transmitter, all plugged into the Zoom H1. For comparison, here is the Rode Lavalier microphone, again plugged directly into my Zoom H1, and this is my typical setup if I'm going to use a Lavalier microphone. Right off the bat, I'd like to say that if you purchase this kit, to please never use the built-in mic on the transmitter. For the price of this kit, you'd be better off buying a Zoom H1, using the built-in mic, and syncing sound in post. The lav mic, however, and why probably most of you are considering this in the first place, is a different story. While it's certainly a step down from the Rode, it's mostly serviceable. Comparing the two lavs by themselves, i.e. not being wirelessly transmitted, reveals the LensGo is mid-heavy and loses out on capturing the bass, giving it a slightly thinner sound. This lav mic by itself is about on par with $20 and $30 options that I've used before. When wirelessly transmitting, however, it's a different story. And this is where the Rode and the LensGo get closer in quality, as the transmitter and receiver boost mids even further and lessen lower and higher frequencies. And while the effect is subtle, it's definitely noticeable. Lastly, despite it looking big and fluffy like my cat, the mini dead cat for the transmitter's built-in mic did a quite poor job at blocking even normal plosive sounds while talking forward, and I would not want to see how it would fare with any kind of wind. But you shouldn't even be using that mic anyways. The windscreen on the Lav, however, was perfectly average, and if you plan to use it where there is wind around you, you will want to use a dedicated cat. A dead cat. In conclusion, as with a lot of products I have been reviewing lately, this mic kit leans more heavily into the convenience side of the triangle over pure sound quality. But at the same time, if you want a wireless Lav setup, or really any wireless microphone setup, there really isn't options in this price range, and name brand options don't start appearing until about double the price of this microphone. So if you decide you need wireless audio, and a wired mic plugged into your phone as the recorder just won't do, then the audio quality here is acceptable. And I'll even go so far as to say that this is the best bang for your buck audio you can get if you need a wireless solution. It certainly works well, and when you consider the upgrade path made available by upgrading your microphone and wireless system separately, nothing says you have to use this system with the lav mic after all, then this is a compelling option for beginning filmmakers and content creators. And this option will certainly sound worlds better than any camera-mounted microphone. While I personally will still opt for recording audio separately and syncing later, if you don't want the hassle or don't have the luxury to do so, then this mic comes at a reasonable price with great convenience. I'll catch you all again next time.